All right, just dropping off a salt lick for the goats here. Like I said, we have 4 of the originals left. So, hey cutie pie. Hey cutie pie. Okay, so we're gonna get out to the greenhouse. That woven weed barrier came in, so we're gonna go check out the temperature of the greenhouse because it is 8 degrees, minus 8 degrees out. We're gonna see what it is inside the greenhouse, even with the damage. So let's go check that out and get to work. All right, you can see it's about, what do we got here? About -2 in the greenhouse. Now, the only problem is the ambient light is pretty much gone, even though it's a little bit sunnier today. The snow is frozen, or ice, whatever, frozen to the ceiling. So let's hope I don't break any glass up on the ceiling, I hope, until I can find a way to heat this greenhouse with alternatives. We'll check these bottles, but hey, we're gonna put this woven weed barrier right here. So we're gonna move this table out of the way and get started. And I'll show you, I can't remember what size it is, but I'll let you know in 1 minute. All right, as you can see, this is 6.5 feet wide by 300 feet long. That's gonna be plenty to do both sides of this greenhouse plus. So I'll have some more to do in the spring when I go outside to where all my trees will be sitting. It's going along this edge first because this is the one this is my working area on this side. On the other side, I'll be planting in the spring, depending on how much heat I can actually arrange in the greenhouse. So I was thinking of propane. I was gonna think about wood stove, but I have to be here all the time to do that. But if I can get a small propane, little fancy fireplace just for decoration or whatever, it'll heat up the ground a bit. My bottles are frozen solid, so it's definitely too cold for the water to stay warm. It's gonna get warm, it's gonna warm up this week, but let's get this down on the ground here and let's weed control this entire side, and that'll be at least one job complete. So we know it comes up to there. Let's get a little extra. We'll just give her a little cut, just like so. Cut's real easy. Oh no, bleed. Yeah, cut's pretty easy. All right, and we got plenty left over to do. So now we're gonna open it up. We're gonna go all the way down there and we'll move it over. So pick this up here like this, bring it over. And later on, I'll get the spikes that they need to put it in the ground to hang on to it so it doesn't move around as much, but that's what we're gonna do. Okay, got her all laid out all the way down. And now I got to put the bench back, which I couldn't roll over because without another person, the middle's kind of flimsy. So we'll gently get it over here, and I'll show you in a second. All right, got the table back in place. No worse for wear on the woven weed fabric here, so that's good. Now we're going to put the top back on, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to double up on some of this wood here, and well, you'll see in a second. Okay, we got some wood up here. I'm not going to screw this down, not yet anyways. A lot of my other stuff is frozen and under a bunch of snow, so maybe next week I might get back to some of this. But basically you can see, I just have a table. I'm gonna put another layer of wood on top, possibly the opposite way. We're gonna solidify this here by throwing bigger boards across. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that. We're gonna have a double layer on here that'll give it almost an 1.5 inches or so of thickness, and then this will be where my seeds are going to get started. So I got my weed barrier in, I got my table done. So what I'm going to do now is I want to get out to the back, and this is a good time to collect a few scions for grafting. So in the spring, I'm going to do some grafting. So I'm going to take some scions, I'll show you that, and then I'll show you how I store them until springtime when the sap starts to run, and then we can do our grafting. So it'll be my first time doing grafting, so definitely watch out for that video. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so let's get at that. All right, so come springtime, I'm gonna wanna do some, I think I'm gonna give my hand at some grafting. So this tree, for some reason, it didn't hang on, but it did shoot a sprout beside it. So I allowed it to grow. This is a Shiro plum, or excuse me, it's a Santa Rosa plum, black plum. And what I'm gonna do is, when I come back in the spring, I'm probably gonna cut down to here and see how far that green will go, or I'm gonna find a spot where I can graft onto. So what I'm gonna use is its sister, which these were both planted at the same time, but I have another Santa Rosa over here. So we're gonna go grab some cuttings from there, and then I'm gonna show you how I store them until springtime, when it's an ideal time to graft. So when it comes to you know, grabbing your scions, it's the same as pruning. You're definitely going to want to clean your cutters off really well each time you use them. And I use isopropyl 99% isopropyl alcohol. So there's not much to do on here because I did a lot of pruning already. So I'm going to have to sacrifice a limb in order to use it over there. So I'm just going to have to find one and cut one. Now, I don't know which is a good one. That's a good one. There's one right here, kind of don't like, so we're gonna snip this one off right there, and we'll do a little trimming on that back. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm going to, let's just get rid of this one here. There we go. So I think that's about it, really. Grab this one. I'll grab this one here, but I'm going to cut it to an outward facing bud right here, so that at least that'll grow this way. So that's all I'm going to do for that. I'm only going to graft maybe a couple onto that plum. So what you're going to want to do is, from what I understand, like apple and pear are kind of in the same genus pool. So what you're going to have to, you can probably graft a pear to an apple to a pear, but you can't really do cherry to apple or cherry to pear. You pretty much got to do cherry to cherry, or I know plum and apricot, they're pretty acceptable to each other. So all you have to do is kind of Google that and find out which ones are the best for that. So again, I'm new at this, but I'm just going to show you how I store them and keep them for springtime, because these are dormant, and what I want to do is keep them dormant until the tree comes out of dormancy, and then I'm going to do my grafting. So I'm going to show you the two other trees that I had trouble with, and then we're going to find some scions for them as well. All right, so this is supposed to be a peach, and I think there's some kind of growth coming off it, and I can't tell if it's below or above the graft. So what I'm going to do is we'll grab our little cutters here, our pruners, open her up, and we'll give her a little bark scrape here. We're going to see if we got some green in here anywhere, because it looks like it's not really green there at all. So we may not have a place to graft onto this, but this is a peach, so we're going to go find us some peach nectarines, and we'll throw a couple of them in the fridge just in case. So we'll see how we do. Again, I can just cut it. Oh yeah, she's super dry at the top there, so I don't know how far I have to go down before it wants to die, so we'll have to check it out. And then over here, I'm pretty sure this was a cherry rootstock. Again, it was a graft, so I'm not really sure what's on this exactly. There has been some little bit of growth on it. It's a little brown. Again, there's this beside it, which I'm not really sure. So again, we'll have to find some cherry scions to put on here, because I'm not going to mess with the cherries. They seem to be the most difficult to either root from cutting or graft, in my opinion. But again, I don't have a lot of experience in this. So as I say, don't just watch my video, watch everybody's videos, because I do some good stuff, but then there's a lot of guys out there that can do way better than I can. And I just keep learning from them. So let's get back to the house. Okay, so just having these large Ziploc baggies that I got from my boss. I grabbed a paper towel and I had dampened it, so it's not soaked, it's just damp. That's to keep it the cuttings from drying out. And then we put them in the bag, and what we're going to do is we're going to stick them in the fridge. Do not put them in the freezer, as I've been told that they can wreck the buds in some way, which kind of seems silly to me because it's freezing outside, and that's where I got these cuttings. But we're going to do what most people do, is just take these cuttings, and we're going to wait until spring. There's my Shiro, my Santa Rosa, and my peach and nectarines. I just kind of mix them up because it doesn't really matter to me. They're for me, not for anybody else. So we're going to get them in the fridge, let them sit there for a couple of months, and then in the spring we're going to try grafting on those trees that were in the video. So I hope you guys had a good week. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends. And I'm only getting better at these videos and better at my food forest and better at the gardening. So keep learning with me, and I'll keep learning with you. And we'll see you next week.